Hello, everyone. My name is Sheila O'Brien, and I'm a mindset and transformational coach and your host on the Missing Link to Healthy Relationships, where we'll be talking about how to unlock your heart, heal the past, and find love that lasts. And I'm so happy to welcome my special guest today, Troy Spry. So, Troy, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to everyone, and then we'll dive into some questions. How does that sound?
Sounds great to me. Sounds
Fantastic.
great to me. So in
So
terms of
yeah,
introduction, I can go ahead and do it if you would like.
go ahead.
Yeah. So my name's Troy Spry. I am a certified dating and relationship coach, a speaker, and the author of the book "Teach Me How to Love: Why What You Don't Know Will Hurt You."
Excellent. All right. And today we're going to be talking about how the dating game has changed and what men wish women knew. So let's dive straight in. How has the dating game changed?
It has changed significantly.
Yeah.
What I like to say though is that the core of it is the same. People still desire companionship and they still desire to matter to someone else, right? But the vehicles in which we date have changed tremendously. So you know how it used to be, you had to meet someone out, you had to get the courage to go approach them, and then you may not see him or her again if you never talk to them. Well, now with social media, with dating apps, with so many communities that are built, in terms of around your likes and organizations that are built around dating. There's so much information out there. There's so many vehicles out there that one has to be able to navigate those so that they don't get frustrated with dating.
Right. Yes. Because there's so much choice, and too much
Mhm.
choice is never a good thing, is it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
FOMO is real. The
Okay.
fear of missing out is definitely changed the game a lot.
Okay. Yeah. And there's also this cancel culture, isn't there? That
Yes,
you can, some little thing doesn't go, that's it, out, because there's plenty more, right?
there you go. People have less patience because of that.
Right. So patience is a big thing. And so what are the common misconceptions that women have about men, specifically in the dating arena?
Oh yeah, there are a few, but I think the biggest thing is this: is that I think women have grown to believe that men um, not necessarily enjoy, but are just built to take all of the rejection, right? So they're built to take on approaching and putting themselves out there consistently, and men do that. We take on that role, but I think the misperception though is that we're built for it. I think men have feelings and they have emotions and they don't like the rejection. So I think how that changes things is I think men now, because they are allowed to be a little more emotional, just because of the way the world works now, men are looking for those active participants when dating now,
Right.
right? Not just to be the suitor all the time,
All
correct?
the time. Yeah. It is a delicate dance, though, isn't it?
Mhm.
Because you
Absolutely.
have to, as a woman, be inviting so
Hmm.
that you give that perception that if he does pursue you, or if he does approach you the first time, that he's going to win, right? Because men like winning. So
Of
you
course.
give that to him. So, but I mean, if you are doing all of that, you are looking inviting. Your facial features are open. You're smiling. You're
Hmm.
looking over. You're making eye contact, and he doesn't come over.
Hmm.
What then?
What that means is he's probably just not that into you.
Okay.
Um, and that's okay, right? I like people to understand, like, I love to say when it's right, it's easy,
Mm.
right? When it's right, it's easy. So when you go through all those steps to open yourself up, to have your energy right, and he still doesn't approach, he may be a little insecure, or he may be a little less confident, but he may just not be into you. But that's okay, because there's plenty of other men around you that you're going to attract with that energy,
Yeah.
right?
Or
Men
even
tend to be attracted to that, like
yeah.
people with um magnetic energy. And women that look like they're having fun, men tend to love to
Yeah.
be around those types of women. Now here's the other piece: he may not have seen you either, right? That's another piece of it too, right? He may be on his phone, he may be talking to his friends, he may not have noticed.
Right. And I was going to add another one. He may be, or taken. He may not be available.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that could also be the reason, which is good because that's an honorable man. That's a high quality man, and
Absolutely.
and we want to attract a high quality man that is available. So moving along, say you do meet a high quality man and you are dating and things are going smoothly, how do you know that they're ready to commit? What are
Mhm.
the factors that differentiate or in that go through a man's mind
Mhm.
that says, okay, this is the one that I want to commit to?
Absolutely. So the first thing I will say, it doesn't take a long time for men to figure this out,
Okay.
right? It's not this drawn out 2-year, 3-year experience where you're dating forever to figure out if he wants you. When men want you, they make it known. Number one, we're territorial, right? Number one, we don't want someone else to have you if we're really into you in that way. But one of the things we think about is, how do you fit into our life?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you could be attractive, you could be fun to be around, but how do you fit into the big picture of our life? Could you potentially be a wife? Could you potentially be a mother? Where's that man at in his season? So that he then understands how you can fit in and add value to that part of where he is in his life. So that's a key. That's a key component. The reason I wanted to bring that up is because sometimes it may be taken personal if he doesn't commit. Well, maybe it's just the season he is in, right? And so we have to take that into account. But also, here's the thing: men know they want to commit when they feel like when they feel like no one else can fit into your space, right? The energy is good. I don't want anyone else to have her because I want to show her that I'm the man for her. And he will be clear. That's the key word. He will be clear and he will be consistent.
Mm,
Those two things are telltale signs. Is he clear about what his intentions are? And is he consistently showing you those things?
excellent.
Those two things make the biggest difference. That's how you will know.
Excellent. Love that. There are two things that I just want to latch on to
Yes.
because I thought that was very interesting. When you said doesn't take him very long, we want to
Mhm.
know how long is not very long.
Yeah. So I mean, I always say if you're dating for anything more than 2 to 3 months and he hasn't made it clear that he wants something more with you,
Okay.
then you probably know where you stand,
Okay.
right? But I think the key is, are you having check-ins along the way? And as a woman, have you made it clear what you desire?
Right.
Right? Because a lot of men, I mean, it's just the honest truth. A lot of men will let it kind of drag out as long as you allow it to drag out, right? And
Right.
keep the options open. But if a woman comes and says, here's where I am in my life, here's what it is that I desire out of a mate, here's what I'm looking for, um, and I would love to spend that with you at some point if it gets there, that makes it clear. Like, this is what I want. And so he can either do two things. He can be clear about what he wants, or he can run away because he's not in that season. And that's okay too. So you got to be clear about what your intentions and expectations are.
Mm. And how do you check in so that you don't either scare him away or maybe
Hmm.
you should, if that's what happens, that's good too, because it shows you where they are.
Yeah. I think the first thing is you have to be willing to first express yourself.
Mhm.
If you're a woman in that situation, hey, I'm really enjoying spending time with you. I'm really enjoying your company and your energy. I'm really looking forward to continuing to get to know you and see where this can go. Right? How do you feel? You see
Cool.
how we just so you say be willing to present yourself and how you feel, and then ask the follow-up question. Where are you at in this? How do you feel? You know, do you want this to continue to progress? I think those are fair questions. We don't ask them because we're scared of pushing someone away. Um,
Okay.
but I don't see a scenario though where you push someone away that really is into you by
Okay.
asking those kind of questions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And actually, maybe they'd be a bit relieved because you're being transparent. There's
Hmm.
something that you said a few times, which was depending on the season he's in. Can you
Hmm.
explain the different seasons?
Yes, absolutely. So sometimes men are in a selfish season where they're just looking to be all about themselves.
Mhm.
They're trying to see what they can get out on the dating scene. They're trying to, can they be casual? Can they have casual sex? Are they just entertaining a bunch of different women? A lot of times that happens right after getting out of a relationship,
Right.
right? So a lot of men like, I'm not going back down that road. I'm not in this season. Or say they're in a big season of transition when it comes to their career. You know, they don't feel stable. They don't feel like they can provide enough value consistently to a woman. So they're in that season where they're like, I like her, but I can't provide her everything she needs. So I probably need to, you know, not commit to that. So that's another season. But then there's this other season of, okay, I've got the things I need. I've got the career. You know, I feel like I'm a solid man. I'm tired of playing in the, you know, in the dating pool. I'm ready to commit to someone and build a life with someone. Those are the three biggest seasons I tend to see from men.
Okay, excellent. And
Mhm.
so, if you meet a guy in one season, what is the likelihood that they can change season while they're with you?
So the one thing I want to leave anyone with this watching is that you can't make him change the season he's in, right? It has to be clear to him. So a lot of men will say, well, I'm not looking for anything serious. I'm just kind of out here dating. And a lot of women will think, oh, you know, he's still available. I can change his mind. If he
Or
says
or we think, well, that's what he says, but he hasn't met me yet.
he hasn't met you, I'm the special one, right? But men are pretty clear most times, right?
Yeah.
I'm not looking for anything serious is code word for I'm not looking for anything serious,
Yeah.
right? And so I think if you're looking to change someone's mind about their intentions, it's setting you up for failure, right? When there's probably 10 other men who may be in a season of, you know, I'm looking for something serious right now.
Right.
Those are the men you want to surround yourself with. You want to play in that market and not the one you got to convince.
Yeah, absolutely. So the short answer is no. Yeah,
No,
he knows pretty much out of the gate, and that's it.
that's it.
So very good. Um, so what is it that men wish that women knew about them?
Hmm. Yeah, so I mean, it's a few things, but I think one of the things that I think a lot of women don't quite realize is that men want to be desired as well,
Okay. Mm.
right? And a lot of times, you know, growing up, you got to think most men aren't taught to be desired. They're desiring. They're paying the compliments. They're bringing the flowers. They're, you know, telling the woman how beautiful she is and everything about her that's great. When, you know, a lot of times men aren't ever even paid a compliment. But
Oh,
men love that stuff. Men love to feel like a woman desires them, that they appreciate them, and that they respect them. Those three things are the core of what make men tick a lot of times, right? Is am I appreciated? Am I respected? And am I desired?
mm,
And women that know this can understand. I mean, you can call it an ego thing if you want, whatever it might be, but they're human at the end of the day.
yeah.
They're still human. And you go through your whole life never really getting any validation, never really getting any compliments, never really getting any kind of thing that says you are valuable, you are worthy, you know, you are awesome. Then you don't want to, you would love for a woman to come into your life and talk life into you and make and fill you up. You see what I mean? So
Yeah,
I think men wish women knew that.
That's so, that's, yeah, it's so simple. In fact,
Mhm.
if you like a guy, don't be shy about, telling them exactly what it is that turns you on, what it is about
Mhm.
them that's sexy, what it is about them that makes them feel safe and loved and cherished. And that's
Mhm.
the appreciation side. And then the
Yes.
respect side. Absolutely. That's great.
There's one more thing I want to add to that too, is
Please.
I think I want women to understand that men can handle clear communication from you,
Okay.
right? So a lot of times what men say is, you know, women speak a different language. It's like they say one thing, but they really mean another thing. And I think men value women that can be direct with them and
Mm,
let them know exactly what they're feeling and how they're feeling about it. Our egos can handle it, right? We can handle it. We'd rather be clear than confused,
okay. Uh,
right? And I think that's an important thing to note, especially in the dating scene. You
yeah.
know, where I'm sure you've seen it, where you know a woman says one thing, doesn't really mean what she's saying, but she expects a different outcome because of what she said. It's like, no, be clear about what it is that you said. If you want me to call you at 7, say you want me to call you at 7. Don't say, hey, it doesn't matter.
Whatever, yeah, that's code. A woman would know that you really want, but you don't want to admit. So
Uh-huh.
all this, rigmarole. But I do find what I find in communication with men is that you have to be careful because you can easily hurt their feelings.
Yes.
So can you give some examples of how, being clear
Hmm.
because women can be clear. It's not that we're not clear, but I guess, sometimes we're clear with a little bit of emotion, that annoyance,
Hmm.
which
Yes.
which for a man can feel like it comes out of the blue, and therefore they react to the emotion and they don't listen to the message.
Yes.
However,
Yes.
is
You
that
are right. You are right.
okay? So
So I always say approach.
how can we help to transform and transcend that? What?
Yes. So that's a great question. To me, approach is everything,
Mm,
right? How you approach men is meaningful. So I'll talk about three things. Number one is timing,
okay.
right? So at what time of day are you making these things clear? Is it when I'm stressed out? Is it when I just can't walked in from work?
Yeah.
Is it when I just got off a bad call or the kid is acting up or whatever it is? The second thing is tone,
Mhm,
right? So if the tone, you can still be feminine and graceful and still ask for things very clearly. I
mhm,
think what happens ultimately is if the tone is up, then men go up and it
mhm,
becomes a defensive battle. Now we want to compete,
mhm.
right? Because now I feel like you're not respecting me because you're raising your voice at me or you're annoyed with me or whatever it is. So
Right.
tone is important. And then technique matters too. A lot of times what men feel like is that they can never get anything right with a lot of women. And
Mm,
so when she talks to him, it's about everything he's not doing right, but he never really gets any accountability out
right.
of the woman, right? And so when a man feels a woman can take accountability for her shortcomings and the things that she's not doing right, he's more open to his,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So technique is very important in how you say, if you take some accountability, hey, I could have done this differently. Here's what I wish you would have done, that kind of thing. I think men are more receiving to that. They don't get as defensive.
Excellent. Excellent. Wow, we've covered so much ground in such a short space of time. Are
Mhm.
there any last nuggets that you'd like to leave everyone with as to how can we become more magnetic? Because I think at the end of the day, we all want to find love. We men
Yes.
and women, we all want to be cherished and whatever. And so, what are the things that we can do right now, apart from being aware and knowing and being clear and all of that. But what can
Yeah.
we?
So the biggest superpower that women have is femininity.
Mm,
The ability to be receiving, to be nurturing, to be supportive, to be flirty, to be, all those things. Feminine, if women can tap back into that femininity, a lot of times life hardens us, right? The things we've been through in the past, and people we've dealt with who make us less trusting, all those things happen. But
mm,
femininity is a superpower for women. And men are attracted to femininity. They love to feel a woman's feminine energy.
mhm.
It's something that we melt for. We
Yeah.
melt for. It's not the hardened energy. It's not the energy that leads with the things I have,
Uh-huh.
right? Or what I've accomplished. That's what a lot of women tend to lead with as they become more accomplished is, I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that. You
I'm
know,
this, I'm that.
I am this person. Look at my degrees, look at all these things. And men are sitting there like, man, but how do I feel in your energy? Do you
Right.
make me feel welcome? Do you make me, how does your house smell? How do you dress? What kind of colors do you wear? Do you take care of yourself, consistently? Those things are magnetic for men. It's not what the society would make us think, which is it's about degrees and accomplishment and career aspirations and things like that. It's the femininity is the superpower.
Fabulous. Because the femininity is like that safe place that men can
Hmm.
go where they don't have to compete,
Hmm.
right? And
Absolutely.
so I love that. But I was going to end there, but now I've seen that fabulous notice that you have behind you, because no
Uh-huh.
matter how feminine one can be, when a man goes into his man cave, what should
Hmm.
a woman do to not, jeopardize any potential relationships or whatever, because we get confused, we feel
Hmm.
abandoned, we feel indignant, like,
Hmm.
excuse me, we were having a great connection and suddenly you know disappear. What's that about?
Hmm.
So give us some tips on how to keep in our and tell us what's going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of times men aren't ready for a certain connection that they made. A lot of times that what happens is so he may think he's in, the season of I want to be a playboy or whatever, I want to be out in the scene dating. Then he meets this amazing woman and he realizes he can't add up. And so he gets ghost, right? He gets a little ghost, he gets a little distant. Or men have trouble sometimes letting women know they're not interested,
Okay.
right? And so they may back away, they may pull away a little bit. So that's another reason you may see a man pull away. And some men, they're just not great communicators. They don't want to hurt the woman's feelings by saying, I'm not in the right season, or I don't want to hurt your feelings, that kind of thing. So some men, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just telling you that's how some men operate. I think what's important for women to understand, though, is you can ask very clear questions about, hey, I haven't spoken to you in a few days. Is something wrong? Is there something that I've done? What's caused you to get a little bit distant? Or hey, I really love hearing your voice consistently. I haven't talked to you in a while. When can we speak again? And just ask those simple questions, but the behaviors will tell you everything you need to know. If he gets ghosted, he gets missing consistently, you can't build a relationship that way. Right. And so trying to change his mind doesn't work. You can drop your pride a little bit in the front end and ask those questions. But if he continues to stay distant, he's not ready for what you're asking for.
Yeah. And likewise, if he doesn't feel up to it, he's also not your man, right?
Yes, that's it. Because you're needing something from him, right? You're needing consistency. You're needing, as a woman, you're needing to feel secure. You're needing to feel like he wants to be there. Right. And so if he can't give you those things, it's not your job to fill in the gap.
No, absolutely. It's not. Fabulous. Well, oh my gosh, so much great nuggets there. Thank you so much, Troy. It's been an absolute pleasure. You are, I wish I could have you on, phone, Troy, what's happening here, and just get an insider on the male mind. So thank you so much for coming on the show. But before we go, I know you have a special gift for everyone, which I will have somewhere on this page. So why don't you go ahead and let everybody know what that is?
Yes. First of all, thank you for having me. I have loved this conversation. In terms of my special gift, so I have a free ebook. It's called Teach Me How to Love, A Man's Journey Toward and Through Marriage. And it'll be available on my website at exclusivethoughts.com, and you'll be able to send me your email and I'll be able to send it off to you. And I think it's usually the lead product into my bigger book, which is on Amazon. So it's a great gift and I think you'll want to read more.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Troy, for that. Do check it out, everyone. And thanks to everyone for joining. Let's see you next time. Bye now.
Thank you.